I was chatting with a buddy last night, and he was about to drop a good chunk of cash on a projector screen without even looking at his room's lighting or his seating distance. He was worried he'd end up with something that looked great on the box but turned into a disappointment once the first movie rolled. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That's the exact spot where a lot of people get stuck spending money on a screen that either looks too small, reflects too much ambient light, or just doesn't match the projector they already own. So before you click buy, let's walk through why the Lipgia Premium Cinema Matte White screen might be the right fit or why you might want to keep looking. First off, let's talk about the category itself. Fixed-frame matte white screens sit in a sweet spot for home theater fans who want a permanent, tensioned surface that keeps the image flat and even. Unlike pull-down or tripod screens, a fixed frame doesn't have moving parts that can go out of alignment over time, and the matte white coating is designed to scatter light uniformly, which reduces hotspots and preserves color accuracy. The trade-off, though, is that you're committing to a specific size and you need a place to mount it securely. If you live in a rented apartment where drilling holes is a no-go, that's a pretty big consideration right off the bat. Now, the Lipgia screen you're looking at comes in a 92-inch diagonal size with a 1 cm narrow border. The cinema grade label isn't just marketing fluff. Matte white surfaces that are labeled as cinema grade usually have a gain close to 1.0, meaning they neither amplify nor diminish the projected light dramatically. That translates to a natural, true to source image, especially useful if you already have a projector that hits the 1080p or 4K mark. The claim that it restores 100% of the projected image is essentially saying the surface won't clip colors or lose detail, which is what you want when you're trying to see those deep blacks in a thriller or the subtle gradients in an animated film. One of the biggest practical strengths I've seen with a screen like this is how it handles ambient light. Matte white isn't the brightest gain you can get, but it does a solid job of absorbing stray light rather than reflecting it back to your eyes. In a dedicated home theater that can be darkened, you'll notice the colors look vivid and the contrast feels punchy. In a living room with a few lamps left on, you'll still get a decent image, but you won't be fighting a washed-out picture the way you might with a low-quality whiteboard or a cheap pull-down screen. That's where the strong light absorbance claim becomes useful. Real-world tests show a matte white with proper tension holds up better than a glossy or silver screen when there's a little spill light. Installation is another area where this product shines or at least doesn't sink. The fixed frame comes pretensioned, so you don't have to worry about stretching the material yourself. All you need are a few sturdy wall anchors and a level. The 1 cm border is narrow enough that it looks sleek on the wall without the chunky frame you see on some budget screens, and it won't eat into your viewing area much. For most people, that means you get close to a Truetta-size 92-inch picture without losing a lot of real estate to the border. On the flip side, there are a couple of practical weaknesses to keep in mind. First, the screen is a single, fixed size. If you're the type who likes to switch between a massive 120-inch cinema experience for movies and a smaller 80-inch setup for board games, you'll be stuck with whatever you pick now. The 92-inch format works well for rooms where you sit about 810 feet away from the screen, but if your couch is farther back, the image could look a bit small, and you might end up squinting at details. Second, the matte white surface, while great for color fidelity, isn't ideal for rooms with a lot of uncontrolled ambient light. If you can't darken the space, say you have big windows that stay open during the day, a higher gain screen or even a gray tone screen might give you better contrast. Another subtle point is the weight. A tensioned screen with a metal frame can be heavier than a simple pull-down. That's not a problem once it's up on the wall, but if you ever need to move it, maybe you're redecorating or you're a renter who finally gets the green light to put holes in the wall, you'll need a bit more muscle or a second pair of hands. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to factor into the overall effort. So, who should hit add to cart for this Lipgia screen? If you've already invested in a decent projector, say a 1080p or 4K model with at least 2000 lumens, and you have a room where you can control